Major Matthew Carr, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much for having me.
You say in the book that you are at heart a soldier. When did you come to realise that?
I don't know a time in my life when I wasn't planning on going to the army. You know, when I was a young kid, I learnt through playing armies and had all my soldiers buried in the back garden to be mowed up at times. Going through high school, it was just somewhere where I was going. And then when I finished my HSC, I was able to get a scholarship into ADFA, which is the Australian Defence Force Academy. And that's where it all kicked off. I haven't looked back since in 15 years.
How well do you think the military prepared you for what life was about to throw at you?
I think a lot. I think what I learnt from the military was very profound, but it was very simple at the same time. When I got diagnosed with testicular cancer, I didn't realise that I was using strategies and principles that the military had taught me. It wasn't until I did some reflection in years later that I realised that I'd attacked this like I had been taught to attack an enemy. But I think very early on in the piece I took on that whole role or archetype as a soldier, and the way that I approach different challenges in life and the things that come up has been very, very military, I guess.
Before we look at those military-like approaches you take, you say the cancer was an enemy. In the book, you compare fighting cancer with a counterinsurgency conflict. What do you mean by that?
Well, if you look at cancer for what it is, there's two ways we can look at cancer. Firstly, we don't understand cancer, so we fear it. If we start analysing it, we understand that it has objectives, it has intent on what it wants to do. At the end of the day, it's just a cell which can't stop reproducing. But if we move away from the medical point and we look at it, what it wants to do in our body, and it's taking control of vital assets or vital points in the body, it's dominating its terrain, it's starving the rest of the body of resources, and it's killing you from within. And if you could think of your body as a government, the cancer is trying to destabilise that government, which is what an insurgent does, you know, in Iraq or in Afghanistan or all over the world. This insurgency thing, it seems to be a new catchphrase, but it's been happening for hundreds of years. It'll happen more often. And as we see the way that these forces use their power and what they're after, it just seemed to work very, very easily that this is what the cancer was doing for me, or to me. If I was going to fight cancer, there was a strategy in place that I could start applying.
Tell us more about this strategy. What are these principles of conflict that you took on to fight the enemy within?
When I was doing my research, I really started to work out that I could fight this like an insurgency after I'd been to Iraq and Afghanistan. And different militaries will have different strategies.